Katipunan.
Let us understand mental health and explore how we can take care of our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. Welcome to your weekly slice of mental health tips and tidbits with Pat and B, here on Mind Ed.
Sa'yo sumisilong kapag ang puso ko'y pagod. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Radyo, radyo, katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay at tenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng kwela. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, katipunero sugod, todo sa kayod, dunong at tulog. Lipat na Blue Eagle, galing giting nagigil. Blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, katipunan.
Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay at tenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng kwela. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, radyo, katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, katipunero sugod, todo sa kayod, punong at tulong. Lipat na Blue Eagle, galing giting at tigil. Blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Radyo, radyo, katipunan.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
If it's entertainment you crave,
Catch us on New Wave
surfing through the latest on our shores.
every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m.
See you there! Hello everyone! Good afternoon! Coming to you on Radio Katipunan 87.9 FM via Zoom. I'm Max, and when it comes to what's happening, I'll serve you the facts. So please take this hour to sit back and relax because this is New Wave. So hi everyone! We're back from our Holy Week break. Was it actually a break for you? Let me know, because I've heard a lot of things about people catching up on work. Some people actually got to rest, good for them. So I want to know what's been up for all of you. For me, right when Holy Week ended, I had my yearbook picture taken, and that was just so wild. I can't believe it's been 4 years since I started studying in Ateneo, and it's about to come to a close, sort of. So that's been strange. So for my fellow seniors, don't forget that yearbook quotes or yearbook write-ups are due this weekend. So get it done by Friday, otherwise it will be left blank. For everyone else, it's the middle of the week, our first week back. Let's all get back into the groove of things. So, over the next few weeks, New Wave has partnered up with Archipelago, which is an avenue that offers premier online learning experiences and opportunities from established experts in the creative industries. So, if you're looking to learn more about social media, more about music, theater, they have something for you in a class that's a little bit different from the online classes that we're used to. So, nothing to worry about. We'll get to that a little later, but for now, joining us is someone who has a class in Archipelago. So, joining us today is someone who has been in the YouTube community for over 10 years, giving him a very extensive knowledge of content creation. He's the executive producer, creative director, and writer for Paperbug TV on YouTube, where he also posted vlogs. He has gained widespread popularity for his various online web series, game shows, and characters, including Bogart the Explorer. Later, he will also talk about his journey mentoring and managing some of the country's first YouTube stars like Will Dasovich, who calls him a master. So everyone, please join me in welcoming Mr. Jako de Leon. Hi.
Thanks for the intro. It's been now you're talking about how fast 4 years
Yeah,
went for you. I'm
Mhm.
looking back and I'm like, I'm wearing my Ateneo
I
jacket.
noticed.
Pero syempre, it's a lot easier. Work from home, just zip up a jacket. And I was
Right.
like, oh, might as well use it now. No, but it's been, I went to Ateneo from grade school to, I guess, freshman year of college before I moved to
Wow.
the US.
Homegrown.
Yeah, so yeah, but I'm looking back and I graduated high school like almost 20 years ago. And it's so amazing even to think back at that
Yeah.
20 years and seeing you, really look at the four, right? And
Mm.
I guess that, I miss the campus, whether it's,
Oh,
because they're
yes.
all on the same campus, but I miss the
Yeah.
campus, the people.
Mhm.
I think there's a culture of Ateneo that really helped me even, later on
Yeah.
in life. So yeah, no, well, very thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for being here. We're so excited to have you. So, like, actually, let's start about talking about Ateneo because, like, I guess I'll start by saying welcome back to Ateneo.
Yeah,
So,
virtually, but
yeah,
I'm
virtually.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have so
So,
many good memories, so it's awesome.
perfect. I was going to ask you, what's your fondest campus memory? Because I think right now, all of us really miss campus. Not all of us have gotten to go back yet for classes, but we're on the way there. We're even on the way to having an on-site graduation for the first time since 2020. But
Wow,
for
amazing.
you, what are your fondest campus moments?
I mean, I was there again. I was there grade school, high school. So as an
Mm-hmm.
Atenean, you have pretty much the same set of memories, right? 'Cause it's an
That's
all boys
true.
school. Now it's not. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
but like it was an all boys school then, at least until up until the end. And you've been with these same people, and my memories are always tied to my classmates, to the craziness that we've
Yes.
put in, especially in high school. I was from section B, which is like
Oh,
semi honors.
semi-honors. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now it's not. Apparently, the sections are different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I was semi honors math. So we were pretty good at math. But
Mm-hmm.
our class was also very artistic. Our class was
Mm-hmm.
also
Mm-hmm.
very extracurricular. I guess that's one of my fondest memories, is that's where I've built my love for other things, right? May it be
Ah,
music, may it be
yeah.
creation, may it be doing things. I think Ateneo
Mm-hmm.
was able to open that up for me, open up that idea for the first time. Because when I went to college, I was pre-med, right? I
Oh,
didn't
yes,
take
yes.
I was pre-med. I was BS Psych in Ateneo.
Mm-hmm.
In the US, I was BS Psych as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I never looked back to the creative side because I was doing that in high school. I
Mm-hmm.
was part of
Mm-hmm.
the theater group in high school.
Oh,
I had a
okay.
band.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
my memories are tied into creatives. But when
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
started going into university to
Mm-hmm.
college, I
Mm-hmm.
was already doing a lot more of what I thought I was gonna do, which is medicine.
Yes, yes.
And then I ended up back here, right? So now
Mm-hmm.
we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about me as a content creator. And
Yes.
when you ask me that question, what was the fondest memories? I'm like, everything, every experience in Ateneo, every day that you walk into school is a different experience.
That's
And
true.
I have decades of experience there. I mean, we have a classmate that would hide in the OHP, the overhead projector. You know that back in the day, I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys still have it, but we have overhead projectors with like these things, and he didn't have
Yes, yes.
homework, so we hid him inside the overhead projector. And then like for the whole period, like he was just there so that he wouldn't, he wouldn't be able to recite. I mean, it's stuff like that I remember. I think it's just because I haven't been back in so long that I remember the fun times. It's not the other one was mean, but it's stuff like that. But yeah, I could talk about it all day, but
Yeah. Sometimes it's those that stick. Like, believe it or not, some of the stories you told me, those still happen in college to this day, I guess. Well, at
yeah,
least till we left and migrated to online school. But yeah, it's those memories that really stick. And from what you were telling me, it kind of reminded me of how, like, when I started college in Ateneo, one thing that they
Mm.
prided themselves on is being like people who shape well-rounded individuals like that. You
correct.
will have a person who's good at like the sciences while being creative. So I think that was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
No. And
Mhm.
going back to the good side of it,
Mhm.
um, Ateneo really molded me into that well-rounded person.
Mhm.
They
Mhm.
teach you everything from,
Oh yes, yes.
being very God-fearing. You
Mhm.
have that, and you have AMDG, and you like for, I don't know for college, but for us in high school, we have to write AMDG, you know, ad majorem
Mhm.
Dei gloriam there. We have to have, like, we're really taught to be well-rounded people, but not
Yes,
only
yes.
in extracurricular stuff, but also as human beings.
Yes, for
And
sure,
and
for
that's
sure.
important. That's important in the industry that I'm in, because
Yes,
I
yes.
think being having empathy and
Mhm.
knowing, it's a difference between social media and TV, right? Like
Mhm.
TV is
Mhm.
like one-sided. The audience is there.
Mm.
In
Mhm.
social media, you react to them, you talk to them, you interview them. Your
Yeah.
audience is in a way a part of who you are, right, as a
Mm,
person.
yes, yes.
So you learn from them, and so you have to know them better. You have to know your audience better than TV does, because they just
Mhm.
put it
Mhm.
there and they look for their
Yes.
audience. In online, the audience finds you. It's the connection that you're building,
Mhm.
the community you're building.
That's
Whether
right.
it's like this, like a radio show.
Mhm.
Hi, Jacob.
Hi.
um Apple. No, it's okay, sorry, my kid's here. Do you
Oh,
want to say
it's all
hi?
right. Oh yes, come say hi.
You want to say hi? You want to show them your apple? Come on. Right
Hi,
now. But
Jacob.
this is Jacob. You say
Hi.
hi.
Hi, what a
Hi.
juicy apple you have there.
Show them you're eating your apple. Come on. One bite. Wow.
Oh.
Oh, okay. You go back to mommy.
Wow.
Nah, but yeah, in future
Cute
Atenean,
cameo.
hopefully.
Ah, yeah,
No.
we're
But
rooting for
yeah,
him.
sorry, going back. Yeah, I mean, in digital, you have to be kind of well rounded in many
Mm-hmm.
more ways
Oh,
than
for
one,
sure,
right?
for sure.
Para I compare it nga to other disciplines. You have to know one thing. In
Mm-hmm.
digital, you have to know a multitude of things, because
Mm,
for most people, you're the producer, you're the creator, you're the
yes,
writer, you're the
yes.
talent, you're the
Mm-hmm.
cameraman, the cinematographer, everything, right?
Yes.
So that well-roundedness, and as a
Mm-hmm.
talent, is important,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
that well-roundedness as a person also makes you a better creator.
Ah,
And
yes.
I
Yes,
learned a
yes.
lot of that in Ateneo. And I'm not just saying this because it's on the show, but when you make me look back, and I remember obviously the
Yeah.
funny times, but I am very grateful. I'm
Mm-hmm.
very grateful about what Ateneo has given to me as a person. Diba? And I think any
Yes,
Atenean,
yes.
when you look back, you'll understand.
Yes, that's right. And I guess because like for my batch, we left campus pretty early. A lot of people are already saying things like that because it honestly feels like a whole lifetime since we've been back, since the trajectory of life super changed. But anyway, I want to zero in on something you just said about the difference
Sure.
between like digital, like media and TV. So like you
Like
pointed out some of
traditional,
the
yeah.
different, yeah, you pointed out some of the differences, but some people argue that they kind of compete with one another. Like I've heard the day old argument that, oh, YouTube streaming, they're also different from TV. They're killing TV in a sense. So, what are your thoughts on this? Would you say that digital media like YouTube competes with things like TV, or would you say that they're two things that can coexist, especially because there are a lot of people now who are crossing both platforms. Like there's
Yeah,
celebrities
no,
opening YouTube channels and vice
and
versa.
vice
So
versa, right?
yeah. So what are your thoughts on this?
I started on television.
Yes, you did.
When I did this whole thing, again, I
Mm-hmm.
was pre-med, right? I had zero
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
experience with any of this. My dad is a television personality, so he,
Yeah. Yeah.
I grew up in that kind of field, but I
Mm-hmm.
went away and did medicine, right? Like did
Mm-hmm.
all that pre-med stuff. But you can't escape it. Creativity just kind of flows, right? So when I started doing it, I started on television. I had a show called Front Act.
Yes.
And it's a show that is on like a smaller channels at that time,
Mm-hmm.
right? But we self-produced, we bought our
Mm-hmm.
airtime. We were doing content that was way ahead of its time, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
because one of the content we made was a show that we eventually put online, which is Bogart the Explorer.
Yes.
And the differences that I saw then, and the reason that I really loved online, was on TV there is a structure, there are
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
producers, there are station managers and
Yes. Yes.
station executives, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's so many people that you have to go through to even make a show. And even
Mm-hmm.
if when you have a show, you don't really, unless you've been there for the longest time, or you're a
Mm-hmm.
big
Mm-hmm.
celebrity or a big producer, you won't really reach the audience that you want, because you're not going to get the main airtimes, right?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
probably going to be at like an 11:30 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we were, at least. Online, what we realized is the audience finds you, and you have the opportunity
Yeah.
to introduce yourself to the audience, and
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
and etc., right? And to build your own
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
Having said that, I don't think online is taking away from TV in general. I think
Mm-hmm. That's
content
good.
is content, right? At the end
Mm-hmm.
of the day,
Yeah.
content is king. Whether it's a TV show, a movie. When even before, when they said YouTube was going to like take over TV, I
Mm-hmm.
already knew
Yeah.
it wasn't, right? YouTube
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
short form content.
Mm-hmm.
TV was long form. To this day, we're actually watching shows on digital, right?
Yes.
You
Yes, we
have
are.
platforms like Netflix, Disney
Mm-hmm.
Plus, HBO,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
etc. These are platforms, but what they're showing are actually television shows as we know it, right?
Yes.
Drama, series,
Yeah.
comedy, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Movies. Um, the medium changes and switches
Mm-hmm.
around, but the content will just expand. When we
Mm-hmm.
started, we were doing short form. Now there's like short form, which is
Yes.
like,
Yes. The 15
TikTok,
seconds.
or
Yeah.
yeah, even less, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
back when I was starting, um, there was one that was like 7 seconds. Like you just have to do it. Vine was
Yeah.
7 seconds long.
I remember
So,
that.
diba? So
Yeah.
it's not it's the person then, and the viewing habits will change, but the
Mm-hmm.
content will remain the same.
Mm-hmm.
Television
Mm-hmm.
will just migrate into a more digital space, instead of analog,
Yeah.
and digital creators will just have more freedom because there are more network. Your own channel, your own YouTube channel, your own
Mm-hmm.
TikTok channel is like your
Mm-hmm.
own little piece of land in the digital
Yeah.
space. Where
Yeah.
in the old analog space, you don't
Mm-hmm.
have that. Diba? You
Mm-hmm.
don't
Mm-hmm.
have that
That's
kind
true.
of, diba? So that's a big difference. But I don't think it's gonna change. There's a spot for everything. There's a
Yeah.
space
Yeah.
for everything. Digital is kind of unlimited in this
Yes.
scenario,
It is.
but the audience
Mm-hmm.
isn't. The audience
That's
isn't. There's
true.
a, diba? And our viewing habits, have changed over the past couple of years. But
Oh
I don't
yeah,
think
for sure.
it's a competition. I think I welcome television coming in. To be honest, I love it
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
celebrities. There was a time kasi na creators are gonna be like, "Ay, bakit sila pumasok? Eh, ang dami nilang fans.
Yeah. Yeah.
People
I
are
hear
not,
about
di
that.
ba? People
Mm-hmm.
are not gonna watch us." And I'm like, look, when I started, there was only like a like 30% of Filipinos who had internet, and how many
Mm-hmm.
people there actually went to YouTube. Like if we
Yeah.
had like
Yeah.
30,000 followers, or
Mm-hmm.
30,000 views, we're like happy, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
amazing. So when celebrities come in, when these people
Mm-hmm.
come in, they invest. And what
Mm-hmm.
happens is their audience is also trained and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
taught to be a viewer. And
Yeah.
now you
Yeah.
have millions of people. I think there's like 60, 70,
Mm-hmm.
80% of Filipinos who are online. That's a lot of people. So now you have a bigger audience to tap. On top of that, you're
That's
also
true.
tapping the rest of the world, diba? So we're
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
sharing an audience. So yeah,
Ah,
so
that's
that's
good.
pretty much it, at least for that question. Sorry, I talk a lot
Yeah.
just so
No, it's fine.
that
It's fine. We all talk a lot. But actually, that's a very good and very valid point. Like, I think more people need to hear that and stop seeing it as competition because, like, well, the past 2 years being at home, how I see it is like sometimes we're in the mood for short form content like YouTube videos.
yeah,
Sometimes we're in the mood for movies, and there are things that can coexist and just
correct.
right live beside each other. And like the fact that
Peacefully, yeah.
right, and the fact that celebrities are going to YouTube and vice versa, it's also different sides of the person as a personality, because when an actor is like in a movie, you know them as their character, whereas in their YouTube channel you can see like a different side of them, or even some of the behind the scenes, which I always found a bit entertaining to watch.
Correct. There's more. Like
Yeah.
it's parang for a TV show, you're hi. For a TV show, you're living beyond your airtime. So if let's say your airtime is just 12 to 1, right? The the openings online, one, your show can be watched anytime, anywhere,
Yeah.
but you can also create sub content and all these other derivatives that can, that you can put in every couple of hours, so your audience is always entertained. There
Yes.
are many ways. I guess there are many ways, but yeah.
For sure. Now, I'm sure you get this question a lot, but I'm curious, how did the jump from medicine to creatives happen? Like, since you took up medicine in
Yeah.
college and then you pursued like content creating. So, how did that happen? And how does it go
Yeah.
together also? Because I'm sure there are some disciplines in medicine that also help you, or like habits you picked up that also help you with the discipline needed to be a content creator.
Oh, that's a great question. Actually, when I was in the US, 'cause I went to the US for the rest of my
Mhm.
college. I was pre-med, I was BS Psych. Pero sigurista ako eh. Like,
Ah.
being an Atenean, you do multiple
Mhm.
things, diba? When I was in high school, I was in a band. I was in like the math competitions, right?
Oh,
Like,
wow.
I was in a bunch of things, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's what they open you to. Eh. They
Magis.
allow you magis eh, diba? The more, diba? But
Yeah.
yun nga, you can do anything, right? If you wanna
You
do
can.
art, right? I was in theater at the same time. So when I
Yeah.
went to college, I was doing three things. I was working at a hospital. I was working at two hospitals.
Mhm.
I wasn't a med student, but I was working in the hospitals as a
Mhm.
volunteer. I was working at a law office because
Wow.
I was be a psychist. So I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, if medicine doesn't work, my fallback is law, right? It's pre-med, it's pre-law.
Yeah.
And then at the
Attorney
same time,
doctor.
no, yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
I had a mentor, some kind of a
Mhm.
mentor and a friend back then who taught me how to do. He was like, I want to teach you photography, and I was like, yeah, sige,
Mhm.
sige,
Mhm.
sige, I want to do photography. I was pre-med, so most of my schedule, and you guys know this as college students, but like most of your schedules have, medyo puno yan eh, punuan
Yeah.
yan. Lalo na if you're
Yeah.
pre-med, you got all your
Mhm.
stuff.
For sure.
I had one elective, and I was like, I have to do art. I have to do something. So I
Mhm.
did
Mhm.
photography. And then from that one elective, nabuhay yung creative side go. Parang I'm like, oh wait,
Ah.
I wanna do creatives again. I wanna,
Mhm.
I'm med, I'm still doing it, but I want to do creative. So
Mhm. Mhm.
I was also working at a non-traditional marketing agency. So what we
Okay.
did there was it opened me to stuff that are out of the box, right?
Mhm.
That are not traditional. Because what we would do would be, you see it nowadays. You see it a lot
Yeah.
nowadays. Executions that are beyond,
Oh,
the normal,
yes.
right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
If you see someone like doing a Netflix promotion of like a giant robot lady girl, like a
Yeah.
doll in the middle of nowhere, that's non-traditional marketing, right?
Yes,
But
yes.
back in the day, no
Mhm.
one was doing it. This wasn't an
Yeah,
idea. The
that's true.
only thing back then was like a flash mob, if you guys remember that.
Yeah, of
Flash
course.
mobs
We
was a
still do
thing.
that
Yeah.
in school, actually.
Yeah, diba?
Yeah.
That's one of the only things back then.
Mhm.
So we would create those things. Like the company I worked for created those things. So it really brought me back to that creative. And I want to go back to your question because when I applied for work here in the Philippines, the
Mhm. Mhm.
question is, wait, pre-med ka, anong ginagawa mo dito? Yun yung tanong.
Of
When I came
course.
back, 10
Yeah.
like 10 years ago. Pre-med ka, anong ginagawa mo dito? In the States, the first thing they asked me is, oh, you're BS Psych. What can you bring into our work,
Ah,
into our
okay.
field?
Mhm.
And then that made me think, right? I'm like, I am BS Psych. What can I
Mhm.
do that's different? Because that makes me
Ah,
unique.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I told them, like, look,
Mhm.
we did all these studies. There are all these
Mhm.
psychological studies that I think work well with creatives, right? What color you're using, like what kind of personality you're getting. All of these are actually now studied even more because in
They
like
are.
we have analytics, we have all these things now you're recognizing patterns. Now you're applying a lot of psychology study,
That's true.
psychological
That's
stuff,
true.
right? So yeah, so I think yeah, so I mean for that there's so much that I was able to kind of put together. And at the end of the day, you know what, wherever you work, um you have to take a lot of your personal experience, right? It doesn't
Yes,
matter. Hi,
for
Jacob.
sure.
You have to take your personal experience and everything that you've learned as a person. There, of course, I can't apply a lot of my
Yeah.
geometry, but definitely what you're learning in math kasi is hi Jacob, Daddy's doing an interview.
Does he want to join?
What you're Yeah, it's good. I'm good. I'm happy you're feeling better. No, but there's what you're learning in math really is problem solving.
Yeah.
It's diba? Like that's what people have to learn about the academe and like really understand. Like you're going to school, you're being trained in multiple things, right? Being
Yes, you are.
organized, being creative. It's not a direct one-to-one thing. And I think that's where I enjoy doing this archipelago thing, right? Like,
Yeah,
because you're
yeah.
you're able to teach. And in my career, parang I had no mentors at that time. Well, I had mentors.
Okay.
I had mentors. I had people I looked up to, but I had no one talagang telling me this is what you're gonna do, this is what you're gonna do exactly. My mentors then, they would tell me, "Hey, do what you love, and you'd be successful." That's one of my mentors. I had three that I recognize as my mentors. Then my dad would tell me, like, if you're doing what you love, it's not work. It's very
Yes.
similar, diba? Like it's
Yeah,
more an
yeah.
inspiration thing. And then my other mentor who taught me, my other person I think is my mentor, at least I consider my mentor, taught me that you can make a living doing what you love, right? And
Yes.
that really set me on a path. That set me on a path wherein I'm like, okay, I want to make a living doing what I want to do. And what is that, right? And that's basically what my course for Archipelago is all about, right? I want to share that insight with people.
Yeah.
I want people to want to figure out what they want to do, but of course in a digital way, because that's my work now, diba? So
Yeah. It's a very useful course actually, because at least for me, I still see like content creation and social media as a very new landscape that people
Yeah.
are starting to get into, especially like within the past 5 years. There's been a big jump from, I remember back in 2011 when you started Paperbug TV. So with this in mind,
Tagal na.
like what's no wait, with this in mind, like you talk about mentors, and I see how being a mentor is also very important to you. Like I've seen your videos with Will, with Dan Marsh, with all of your talent, with all of your talents and friends.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
when does I don't know, how do I say this? When does mentorship play a role in someone's growth? And like apart from that, how can you mentor someone while still encouraging them to be like their individual, like identity wise?
I think that's what a mentor does. In general, parang when you're a mentor, kasi like ako personally, I like being called a mentor, I guess, but personally nga, parang I just wanted the best for people, right?
Okay.
I mean, I know I'm going back to the whole Ateneo thing, but it's just
It's
coming back
fine.
on the
It's
Ateneo
fine.
thing, But it's like a Saint Ignatius thing, you give and not ask for reward kind of thing, right?
Yep.
It's like for me, it's like I wanted to the people that ask for help, I wanted to leave them better than when I first found them. And I think a
Okay.
mentor, a real mentor, like a true mentor for me, wants the best for that person. They're not there to create a clone of themselves, right? The best leaders create more leaders. You don't want
Oh, that's
followers,
good.
right?
That's good.
So whenever I talk to Will, I met Will when he had 8,000 subscribers.
Oh
Like
wow.
and I was amazed by what he did, and I wanted to help him grow that. And now he has, millions, and now we have a podcast, now we have all these things.
Yeah.
When Bogart the Explorer was our PA in our show, on our TV
Wow.
show, he was a production assistant, and he had a
Oh.
talent that I was like, hey, we should do this, we should do this
Yeah.
thing. You have to be happy for people, eh. And I think
That's
that's
good.
that's, if you're a mentor and you see the people that you've trained or the people that you've taught succeed, that's also you in a way, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
in an
That's
ego way, but a little bit in a way, right?
right.
uh
Yeah.
Hi. My The one thing I keep instilling to people that I interact with or I teach
Mm-hmm.
is we all rise by lifting others, right? We all
That's
rise
good.
by lifting
Mm-hmm.
others. My success is Will success is my success, Bogart
Mm-hmm.
success my success, and I'm happy for them, right? I don't
Yeah.
want to put them in a box. Hi, daddy's doing an interview. So yeah, I mean, without expounding too much on it,
Yeah.
that's pretty much it, right? Like I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what I felt a lot of people in this field needed, because as you said, it's a new field
Yeah.
for a lot of people. People are going into this field blind, right? They don't know where to go,
Yes.
they don't know where
That's
to
right.
start. And that's also why I wanted to do an intro. So my course, for
Mm-hmm.
example, for Archipelago, is intro for content creation. And you'll get a snippet of pretty much everything you need, right?
Oh, okay.
I'm
Okay.
not But to go to what I'm not is, I'm not there to tell you exactly how to, you know, how to focus your cam, right? Like
Yeah, of
we're
course.
a lot of
Yeah.
information at our fingertips, and that's a lot of experience. What I
Mm-hmm.
really want to drive at with my course is, I want people to understand um what content creation is all about from
Mm-hmm.
the base,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of creators that I know jumped into it and they didn't have that fundamental, and
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
they got burnt out. They weren't happy at the end of the day.
Yes,
When
yes.
I'm super happy making the stuff I want. That's all I wanted for people,
Yeah.
is
Mm-hmm.
for them to make a living doing what they love, so that it's not work, right? It's a
Yeah,
mix
yeah.
of what I've learned in life, which is the three things I've learned. um so yeah, so for me, it's really that I want people to find that base, because there's many ways to skin it, and there's many ways to get
Mm-hmm.
into
For
this
sure.
industry, right? Right now we're on a digital radio show.
Yes.
This can be, this can go big,
Mm-hmm.
and this could launch anyone's career. You can also go
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube, you could be a TikToker, you could be a
Mm-hmm.
Spotify podcaster, right? There's many ways to skin it. But what I've realized is, in any of those, there's only one way of thinking, and it's like one
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
mentality of thinking that I think um, is kind of the same for a lot of creators that have been there.
Yes, yes.
And that's what I want to teach then, is from my interactions with people who have done it, what
Mm-hmm.
have I learned from them? And in return,
Mm-hmm.
what can I show it to people? Na, okay, what I've noticed is Will, Bogart, Alodia, Erwan
Mm-hmm.
Yusaf, people that I've interacted with them and known over my career, Mikey Bustos, they
Yeah.
have things in common. They have things in common, and that's why they are still here. That's why our careers have spanned decades, when a lot of
Mm-hmm.
content
Mm-hmm.
creators drop out in like 1 or 2 years, right? So it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
and so that's what I want to teach. I want to really instill that. It's close to, again. I guess it's just an Ateneo thing, but
Yeah.
like 20 years now, the things that Ateneo has instilled in me are still there,
Yes,
and
yes.
that's a
I
core.
understand.
So in
Mm-hmm.
content creation, there is a core. And that's what I want you to learn. Other than being a well-rounded content creator and knowing what you have to know, knowing how to make it a job, a business, you
Mm-hmm.
also have to have that core. And that's a huge part of the course. So anyway,
That's so true.
just take it na lang if you want to. If you don't,
Yeah.
I hope you do. There are a lot of courses in Archipelago. It's a beautiful program.
I'm sure a lot of people will be interested in taking your course, especially after what you just shared. Of course, no spoilers. If you guys want to take the course, head over to Archipelago. I think the link will be in the comment section when this is aired.
Yeah.
So, all of that being said, what would you say is the key to longevity? Because like Paperbug TV has been around for so long, like more than
Oh
10
yeah.
years.
Yeah.
And with different
Uh,
types of content. So, what's the key? What's the
I think
secret?
that's part of it. Different types
Mm.
of content is a way. I'll hold your apple. Um, the the idea is also reinvention and understanding. Again,
Mm-hmm,
and then
mm-hmm.
again, going back to that core, you have to have a core.
Yeah.
Because you have to have, and one part of the course is the first chapter of my
Mm-hmm.
of my course is looking for your why and how to find that why. Because when you
Okay.
find it, you could I mean, cliche as it sounds, you could manage anyhow, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
so that's that's a big chunk of my course. I know. Hi, Jacob. Uh, I guess this is another thing. Diba, longevity is you have to have something. Yeah, you have to have your
Yeah,
why. You
yeah.
have to have something that you're fighting for every day. For me, before I had a kid, it was I just wanted to make content. Content makes me happy. Making other people happy, whether that's one
Mhm.
viewer to a million viewers, that's something that keeps me going. So it's really something that is instilled in me. But then,
Mhm.
yeah. So that's I guess it's part of it. Longevity is really a matter of. That's in my second. Okay, you know what?
Oh,
If you guys want to
okay.
check it out, check the course. The second chapter is about the 5 C's of content creation.
Oh, okay.
That's again, these are
Mhm.
core values. Longevity is built because you have a goal, right? You have something that you want to achieve, but you're also in love with the journey. So
Mhm.
that there are two things. Some people are in love with the destination, some people are in love with the journey.
Mhm.
um
Mhm.
yeah, Jacob, wash hands, you wash hands. That is
Yeah.
explaining the difference between but I think you have to, I saw a comment kasi before na you have to be in love with the journey kasi you keep walking, and then
That's good.
the
That's a good
milestones
mentality.
are the milestones that you hit are just are just byproducts of it, right?
Mhm.
So you're
Yeah.
successful by doing it. I believe that's true, but you also have to have a goal or a destination, right? You also
For
have
sure,
to
for
have
sure.
an ideal of what you have to
Mhm.
achieve, or else you could be walking aimlessly if you don't
Yeah,
know where you want
yeah.
to go, right? So I think both, right? You have to love both, and that's a key to longevity for me, is that you do it not because you do it mostly because you love it. And
Yes,
that's
yes.
and
Mhm.
one of those mentors, his name is Tony Tavera. He was the
Mhm.
producer of Eat Bulaga. He sat me
Mhm.
down, we were like kids, and that stuck with me. And he was like, do what you love and you would be successful. And how he explained it is, hi, Jacob. And how he explained it is and how he explained it is, no matter what happens, if you're doing what you love, you will do anything to make your dreams happen because that's what
Ah,
you love.
okay. Nice.
um yeah, so that's there. Hi, Jacob, do you want to say hi again? Your mouth is
Already
full of
we're learning
apples.
lessons from our guest today. Hi
Wait,
again, Jake.
mahaba pa yung course, ha? You have to say hi.
Yes, this is a snippet of what the course will be like. Hi.
Yeah, no, it's a lot delving into it. And even when
Mm-hmm.
I'm teaching something like branding, right? Like
Oh
personal
yeah, yeah.
branding and doing that, it still goes back to core. And I still always
Okay.
drive it back because I can teach you something very specific, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's really something that I want people to get inspired. I want people to
Mm-hmm.
be tooled well enough now if you go into the content creation field, the values are intact. And
Yes, yes.
the techniques you can learn. And we're
Okay, okay.
probably one thing pala about Archipelago that's so wonderful is it's really dedicated to the creative community. You know
Yeah.
when you go to a when you go to a I was talking to Twinkie, one of the people behind Archipelago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she was saying like, when you go to a job fair back then, you won't really see
Yeah.
creatives. You won't see the creative. You
Yes,
won't see
yes.
like a producer, a director. Like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, go there. No, it's always the usual
Yeah.
traditional fields.
Yeah, yeah.
And mostly because at least our generation, my generation, and back maybe now, they didn't really see it as a job, right? It was a hobby.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's what really, when people ask me, like, I've been doing this for over a decade.
Yeah.
And hi, Jacob, you go
Hi,
please.
Jacob.
Wash hands with
Uh,
mommy. Wash hands with mommy. No, but yun nga like I forgot where I am now. But yeah, but
You were
it's
okay.
some yeah, no, go
Y-
go go if you're.
you were at job fair.
Oh
Sometimes
yeah,
they don't
no,
do
job fair.
creatives there.
Yeah, and that's what's wonderful about Archipelago.
Yeah.
Archipelago is really putting one space wherein you can be
Mm-hmm.
anything you want in the creative
Mm-hmm.
field. And it's not just like my track that I'm actually helping build is a track. Um and that career track is content creation. So I'm starting
Yeah.
with intro. And when you have that core values, then eventually we're
Yeah.
adding other
True.
courses and classes. So you can be a well-rounded creator.
Nice, nice. what I like about it also is there's really something for everyone. Like my dad teaches
Correct.
a course on music production, and I also saw a lot on like
That's right. Yeah.
theater, business. So it's really something interesting to look into. So with
Yeah.
all of this, who would you encourage to take your course?
I think people who actually the course is for everyone, whether you're an expert already. I don't know if there's such a thing, right? But if you're an expert in content or you're a beginner, I think the course is more, at least for me, right? It's a VOD, so it's a video on demand course. There are there are a couple of chapters that you're just gonna view. It's kind of like kind of YouTube videos, right?
Okay.
But it's reinstilling that core if you've lost it. But if you haven't gone into it, this is perfect because this is what all the guys you admire, all the people, all these like boys and girls who have gone into this industry and created this industry have in common. These are all the things that they know basically, like as a as a base, right?
Yeah.
Because some people kasi yun nga, they go into content kasi they went viral, diba? But they don't know the basics, diba? They don't have the
That's true.
fundamentals.
That's true.
And I think that's what I try to offer. And I actually, I'm trying to collaborate pa on the track kasi parang I feel like there's so much you could learn once you know the basics, once you know the fundamentals. And then you could go into specifics, diba? So eventually, if you're an intermediate level, beginner level, like, and that's what I love about Archipelago. You can create a course for yourself and build the career you want.
That's so
right?
true.
Yeah. So
you can
there. Hope I did that justice, Twinks.
I'm sure you did. But out of curiosity also, does your course have like a live interaction aspect, like a workshop or like a Q&A with you, or is it purely
you know what?
pre-recorded?
So it's VOD right now. I did originally it was like that, but then obviously over time in the pandemic, things changed, so we ended up with VOD. But hey, you know what? If there's a demand for it, I'd love to do that. I actually was talking to Twinks about it. Now I want to have because I didn't know it. I mean, I like to mentor, but to teach is a whole different thing. I was so scared because it's different. But I love it when I get to inspire people. Thank you. We got Easter, so he's giving me Easter eggs.
Cute.
At least you're picking the blue ones. Very smart. But it's what? Thank you, Daddy. Okay, thank you, Jacob. Here, take the eggs, please. But it's like being imparting anything is great. So I really want to do more of it. To be honest, I want to build the whole track. I want like and you know what? At the end of the day, we do have other. We do want to create more live stuff. I'm sure Archipelago will grow, and that's what I wanted to do as well. So hopefully, right now it's VODs. But I think there's a chat. If I'm not mistaken, there is a chat wherein I can talk to the students, and who knows, that can expand into a million different things. So that'd be awesome.
For sure. Good idea. Especially now we have the avenues to do it, because it would be nice if you could like ask questions should you have any and like get them answered in real time. That would be like really fun. So anyway, back to content creation to you. Since you said like it's more of these core values and then you learn the technique, but what makes good content? Like you can answer this any way you want, whether it's like the personality of the person, something rooted in something Atenean again, or if it's a technique, anything you want.
I'll try to avoid that. I think I've been doing that the whole day. But nakakamiss. Especially you guys have been out for 2 years. But what makes a good content creator for me is their why nga. Why do you make content, right? If it's self-serving, as a creative, if it's self-serving only, because of course it has to be, right? I don't really believe in the starving artist anymore these days, because you could be anything you want and you could make money out of it. And you can make a living out of it at least, diba? But so there is some self-servingness in it, right? There's a part of it that is self-serving. But when you're selfless about it, when you make content because you want to make people happy, or because it is something that you love, right? Then then that makes you a good content creator. On top of that, if you have again, there's a 5 C's chapter there. I talk about everything.
Yeah.
In my book, naglabas na ng book.
Go ahead.
But there's
It's fine.
no. But also there's a bunch of things. If you look at the 5 C's, it's all there. But one of the 5 C's is also consistency. And if you can be consistent with what you do, that's very important. I think content creation is kind of a business now. It's not like before when we started, wherein you make one content, people go to it and people are asking me, oh, paano ba yan? 2,000 lang yung nanood sa akin. I don't have a million views. And I'm like, have you seen 2,000 people? Have you seen 20,000? 20,000 people is like the Araneta Coliseum, right? So when you watch a UAAP game, that's 17, 16,000, 20,000 people kind of cheering for it. So imagine having a video of you performing. I assume you play music, right? You have a guitar behind you. Are you a singer?
Yes, I sing more. I sing and I write and release songs.
There you go. Like there's so much avenue for a musician these days, right? There's Spotify, there's SoundCloud, there's Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Like there are musicians that do short form content on TikTok and end up releasing albums on Spotify. Right? And then now you have the bigger musicians coming in and doing TikTok related music, because music is part of TikTok. YouTube was a pioneer in that by featuring artists that are doing covers, and then now you have things like Kumu, right? A locally developed platform wherein you can go live and sing and do that, right? And earn. So forgot what the question is, but to be a good creator, you have to be a well-rounded individual, I guess. You have to have the 5 C's. It's in the course. You have to know your why, which is in the course. And you have to be, I guess you have to be optimistic then, because it's not a journey for the faint of heart in that sense. Right?
For sure.
You could be disheartened and whatever, but you have to have a good moral compass and a good creator's compass. When you know what you want to do for a living and you know what you want, you love what you do, you would do anything to get there. I have a kid now. He's 2 years old in May, and I look at him and I go like, okay, what can I do so that he can have a better life, right? Like that's so that's what I look at as a creator. Ganun din, if you love something and you want the best for that something, or you want to reach that goal, you're willing to do anything to attain it. And so you learn, right? You learn, you build. As a dad, I'm learning how to dad in the pandemic. There's no interaction. I can't talk to people. I joined the Facebook group called Dad Bud. Shout out to the Dad Bud people. But you have to learn it. You have to learn. You have to learn. You have to grow. And you have to be better. You have to be better than you were the day before. So that's what makes a good creator, I guess. Like some people would go like, ay, wala akong content na maisip, na mental block ako, I can't think of new content. And I'm like, not having content is a content, right? It's content.
Oh, okay.
Diba? You can make a vlog about like, hey, today I don't know what to do. And so I'm going to do multiple things in one day and see what I could do and what I love to do. You could think about this a million different ways. But you have to be creative, definitely. It's content creator nga. So be creative. That's a part of it. Sorry, I'm
no problem. You actually answered the question and a little bit more. And now I'm seeing like a clearer picture of content creation as also learning how to be creative within constraints. And sometimes they say that that's when creativity really happens. Because if you have like full freedom, you would do something that like something you're used to, something you're good at. But then when you put these limits there, that's when you really have to think out of the box.
Correct. It's both, diba? I mean, what's amazing is when you have all the tools, you can create anything because everything's there. But when you're in need, then necessity is the mother of invention. Ika nga, diba? Like then you also can do it. Content creation comes from inspiration. Content creation comes from necessity. Both of them will give you something. And ideally, the necessity part shouldn't be thing, but that's what a lot of content creators have used as a battle cry, right? A lot of
Yeah.
content creators are from multiple parts of the country. They all they have is a phone and internet, and
Yes,
that's
yes.
it, right? And they're able to build lives. They're able to build um careers out of it.
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
and so that's what I love about it the most, I guess, is that anyone can be somebody on this platform,
Yes, yes.
so yeah, so there.
All right. So we're heading into the tail end. What's one project that you want to do in the future? Like it can be the near future or a year from now as a content
Oh,
creator.
what's funny is that you were asking, like, traditional and non-traditional. I
Yeah.
actually want to do film. It's the only
Oh,
thing
wow.
that
Okay.
I haven't done. I've done TV series, I've done
Mm-hmm.
series, web series. We did a web series called Tanods, which is like the first
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
comedy series online. I mean, we
Mm-hmm.
did Bogart, right? But I haven't done a film. I actually have a lot of ideas for film.
Ooh,
I
that's
want to do
exciting.
things that I haven't done, and I think that's what's great
Yeah.
about content, about YouTube, about developing
Mm-hmm.
on
Mm-hmm.
social media. Is you can do anything. You want to do an action sequence, do an action sequence. You want to do a concert, do a concert, right?
Yeah.
But there are certain things that need a level of skill and expertise, and who
Mm-hmm.
knows, I might go into Archipelago and learn it there.
Yeah.
But I want to make a film. I've also wanted to produce music. That's also one thing that
Oh,
I'm a
okay.
producer by trade, kasi so I want to
Yes,
create,
yes,
diba?
yes.
So I want to make music, I want to make movies, I want to make more shows. I want to make stuff
Mm.
that I've never done before. It's an exhilarating experience
Yeah,
to learn. It's an exhilarating experience to grow, and
I
that's
agree.
why. And if anything that I teach is that, you know information is not really knowledge, and knowledge is not really wisdom.
Mm.
And so, there are steps into this enlightenment
Yeah.
na you can have in your journey into becoming, whether a better person, better creator, whatever, right? So yeah, so I do want to do those things. Actually,
Nice.
depends on the day. There are days when I'm writing songs and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this would be good, a good album. Or I'm creating an idea. But if there's one thing, so go to film, for now, just because I think with film I could do a musical, right? I could hit
Oh,
five
okay.
birds with one stone, right? I can
Yeah,
do
exactly.
diba? I can make a movie
Yeah.
that has an action sequence, that has
A song.
that they break out into songs. I have to
Yep.
produce a song. I remember I was doing that TV series called Dano. It's an internet series. And we had the freedom to do whatever we want in a
Mm-hmm,
sitcom.
mm-hmm.
So I was like, hey, let's do a musical. So we had an opening that was a big musical number. And we didn't want to
Yeah.
do it half baked. So we really
Yeah,
got
of course.
theater people. We had a recording
Yeah.
studio.
Wow.
We had dancers. We had a whole production. And then the next episode, we were like, hey, you know what? We want to do an action scene. So we hired
Mm-hmm.
a stunt coordinator. We did all these things. And this is online, right?
Oh,
So I've been
wow.
able to do things that a lot of people with a lot more expertise are able to
Yeah, yeah.
do. But I want to do a legit kind of film. So
Mm.
hopefully, in the cards,
Yeah,
hopefully that happens.
that's going to be something to look forward to, and that already sounds like a really good idea. Like I can imagine a very epic musical, like you said, with an action scene. So epic musical with, like, those really good battle scenes. And then I see you're a Marvel fan. I saw your tweets about Thor. You can even do something like that.
Yeah, and they had a Marvel musical in a
Yeah,
Hawkeye series. But no, but
yeah, I saw that.
definitely I love musicals
Mm.
then, so I really hope I could
Mhm.
produce one. Share it with you guys maybe in the near future.
Of course, that would be something to look forward to. So now let's go into inspiration, because like a while ago we talked about a little bit about burnout, and we've also talked about feeling disheartened. So what's something you tell yourself or to people who that go through those emotions?
Um I think I always tell them to go back to why you started, and that's a big
Mm,
chunk of the course actually, is helping people find their why. I think knowing why you started is also creating the avenue for you to finish what you started, diba? And so whenever you're lost, it's okay to let yourself out naman, if you know how to let yourself back
yeah.
in a way, diba?
Mm,
So
okay. Okay.
so minsan sabi nga ni Tolkien, diba, all those not
Mm-hmm.
all those who wander
Are
are
lost.
lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and I think that's what a creative goes through, what a creator goes
That's
through.
true.
You have to allow yourself to be in a free fall state. And sometimes you're there because you don't want to be. But whatever you are, right? If you are a musician, I mean, Taylor Swift and Adele would write full albums
Yes.
based on heartbreak,
Yep.
right? Or create full albums. Again, you're looking at, you have the vast amount of creativity and space, and you're limited by whatever problems, burnouts, whatever. That's
Yeah.
where you find yourself bested, diba? And it's in the darkest
I
of
see.
skies where you see the brightest of stars, diba?
Mhm.
Kind of that kind of mentality. So whenever I talk to people, it's always that, right? It's always reminding them, cliche as it sounds, I love reading quotes. I love taking quotes in as part of me. But it's inspiring others, and if you can't inspire yourself, then you could try to inspire others, and maybe that inspires you,
Nice.
diba? Like we're all in the same boat. We're all boats rise with the tide, and so
Nice.
hopefully we all help each other out, right? We're all learning, we're all teaching.
Yeah.
So yeah, so if you're ever lost, I guess the first thing you have to go is go to where it's familiar, go, and which is, either that's the reason for you to do anything, or people, right? If you're lost, you talk to people, converse with people,
Yeah.
people that you're safe, because then they can redirect you back into a path wherein you thought was lost. And yeah, so there's a bunch of ways to do it. But ako, when I remember Will, and
Yeah.
to go to for Will, at least I have that example. Um, all we wanted was to hit 100,000 subscribers when I first met him. He
Oh,
was 8,000
wow.
subscribers. That's all he wanted, right? Because
Yeah.
back then it was unheard of to get a million, even in the Philippines, lalo na in the
Yeah.
Philippines.
Yeah.
You know what? After working with them, we hit it in a month,
My
and
God. Wow.
a month or 2 months. And then he wouldn't respond to me, and I went to his house, and he was the saddest I've been for someone who's gotten what he wanted. And he had a full
Yeah.
beard. That's the first time I saw him in a full beard. I brought him a gift.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I don't know why you're so sad. You got, we were so
Yeah.
happy hitting
Yeah.
100. We were like, hugging. Hey, we got it.
It was the
Um,
dream. Yeah.
it's a dream. And then he was like, I don't know what to do now. I got what I
Oh.
wanted. And that's where also, falling in love too much with the goal might be a problem, because once you get it,
Okay.
then what's next, right? If you don't know how to cold jump, if you don't know how to get there, then you're always going to be lost, right? That's why you also have to fall in love with the journey, so that you just keep going,
Yeah.
you just keep creating content. And when he was there, that's what we talked about. We're like, you know what? The goal is there, it's great, but there are many more goals to attain. There's a million.
Yeah.
So we wrote down, multiple things that we can achieve pa.
That's good.
There's a quote again that I really like. It says like, shoot for the moon and you land amongst the stars.
Yes.
Obviously, astronomically speaking, that is impossible. Mas
Yeah.
malayo, mas light years away yung stars. But
Yeah.
the idea is you overshoot, right? And then
Yes,
you
yes.
overshoot your goal, but you also have to be, in a way, aware that you have to be grateful of the things that you've accomplished along the way. Diba? When you look back naman, dapat you're looking, when you look back, it's only to see how far you've come. So
Yes.
with Will, he was looking at something, he attained it, and then
Mhm.
after that he was so sad because
Now what?
what's next?
Yeah.
Now what? Yeah, the question, now
Yeah.
what? But if you have a why, then that what doesn't matter, that how doesn't matter, everything else doesn't matter. You're just gonna keep going. And so now with Will, if you look at him from where I met him maybe 7 years ago to like now, now we have a third channel.
Yeah.
Now that third channel, which is our
Yeah.
podcast channel, Superhuman with Will Dasovich,
Mhm.
it has attained also 100,000. So now we're
Yes,
like,
yes.
now what? All right, you know what? Let's produce another one. Let's produce another. Content will open you up.
Yeah,
Lalo na
yeah.
now, you're not just a YouTuber anymore. You're not just a
Mhm,
TikTok or Facebook or whatever, right? You're everything. You're
Yeah,
parang
yeah.
MMA na siya,
Yeah.
both multimedia arts or mixed
Mhm.
martial arts, right? You're training in multiple
Yeah.
disciplines, and you can expand and evolve.
Mhm.
So yeah, so yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I
But no,
talk a lot,
no
but
problem. That was
hopefully you take the
actually
course.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm sure a lot of people will take the course. And that was actually a very good story to hear because like people need to know these stories and not just see the results of it because we see the numbers, we see the subscribers,
100%. Yeah.
right? We see the videos, but we don't always see these stories that go behind the scenes. And for me, that was something that's so important, especially
Oh yeah.
that right diving into content creation. You need to know the other side, what goes on
That-
behind the scenes, right?
Exactly. I mean, these guys, and I say it in the course. Like the people who you see as overnight successes took them years to get there. Like it's with Will, we were working for like he was creating content night and day when I met him. He would
Yeah.
work 24 um he would work in a 24-hour day, he would work 16. He would shoot for 8
Wow.
hours, edit for 8, sleep
Wow.
and eat for the
Yeah.
rest. And that was it for a year. That's also not
Yeah.
healthy, I always tell him. But
Yeah.
he was that dedicated. He wanted to
Mhm.
produce a vlog every day. He wanted to do a daily vlog, and he was doing that for years.
Wow.
Minsan, I think to the detriment of his health at that point. But again, be smart about what you do. But like you could see the dedication in this guy, and nobody knows that. Nobody knows
Yeah.
it, but the people who were there at the start.
Mm-hmm.
You see lang now na parang, hey, he's promoting this brand or he's doing this. But what it took him to get there is a lot more. It's almost the impossible, right? It's almost crossing the impossible. But it is possible because he made it possible. So when you look at Will now, you shouldn't look at, oh wow, he's there. You should look at, wow, he did all this and he survived and he got over the mountain, which means he's paved the path for me to go there too.
That's nice.
And
that's nice.
one thing, Anna, I swear the last thing on my end at least is that I always tell people na parang they're like, oh, don't you want to be like Will or whatever? And I was like, you know what, the paths we paved are now streets with no names, but like that's what I did it for. I did it because there was no path. Because when we started, no one was doing content, no one was doing what
That's
we
so
did.
true.
And when we saw the top of the mountain, we rushed down to tell people what's up there. And if we couldn't get up anymore, that's fine. We've seen it. I'm very fortunate that I have friends and I have people that I've taught after Paperbug. Na they're still heading up there. Some people are on the way up there, and with Archipelago, I hope that some of them get up there because it's a beautiful, beautiful career. Amazing experiences. I've got to go from Hollywood premieres to meet
you have.
celebrities to interviewing them, and maybe it's not me, maybe it's Bogart or Will, but I was there, and for me, I'm happy for them. I produced it, diba? So you can be anything you want in this medium. So if you have the opportunity to try it out, to learn it, then this is a great way of starting, at least.
Yeah. One thing I picked up from everything you've been saying this afternoon is I really like your mentality about how you want everyone to win. In a sense, this is all a team effort, and it's more about building each other up, which it should be, instead of tearing each other down. It's a much more positive mindset to have, and it's a lot lighter on you also, knowing that like, okay, I'm building myself up while helping build others up. Like that's something that's definitely going to stay. So on that note, I said earlier, social media is quite new. And right now, especially now, actually, some people would say it's become an echo chamber because all of a sudden, everyone can speak something into the void. Everyone can say something. Everyone can do something. So how can we, like the youth, maybe even people younger than me, be responsible with their social media platforms? Like, how can we utilize this to do good? And overall, to just be responsible about it and not add to the already existing problems that we're facing.
I think that's also what I noticed these days, right? We have those terms, right? Bubbles, echo chambers.
Yes.
Hey?
Is everything okay?
Okay. Nah, it's good. It's echo chambers, all of this. To be honest, I think it's time that we burst those bubbles and we reach out beyond the echo chambers. And it's not, it doesn't matter, right? Political, whatever, right? You could be debating about DC versus Marvel. It doesn't matter.
Oh yeah.
It's the idea that we should build more bridges and break down more walls. I think that's what we lack and forget. Being a content creator, we forget that a lot. We forget that a lot because we are just merely in our own space.
Mhm,
And that's where
mhm.
bubbles come in, right? The
Yeah, yeah.
algorithms will tell you what to watch
Yep.
because, oh, if you watch this is what you watch.
Yes.
And then you end up talking online with the people that
Yeah.
are the same you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We need people in our lives, or we need people
Mhm.
in general who are going to tell us what we don't want to hear as well.
Yes, of course.
And on our end, we have to learn that there's also other ways of doing it. There's also other ways of seeing things.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
and it's all about conversation. I think it starts there. Um, this is social media, but the irony
Yeah,
of
yeah.
social media is, unlike TV, this is a two-way street. I can
Yes,
talk to you,
yes.
you talk to me, you
Mhm.
comment, I can reply. Um, but that's not what's happening. What's happening
Mhm,
is that
mhm.
we're funneling in. We are talking,
Mhm.
but we're
Yeah,
only
yeah.
talking with people that we want to talk to.
Yes,
Diba?
yes.
We're only talking with those people. We're
Mhm.
not going the other way and understanding what who they are. At the end of the
Mhm,
day, these are
mhm.
people din eh, diba?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Jacob. Do you understand that, Jacob? You say yes. You say yes po. No, but
I
yun
understand.
nga eh, parang we have to reach over now. We more than ever we have to put in that effort. It has to be how do you say it? Intentional. It has to be
Okay.
intentional that we are reaching out, that we want to understand. We shouldn't listen just because we have the intent to reply, diba, as they say.
Yeah.
We have to listen because we really want to learn and get better. That's the true at least when we started, we were all multiple creators of different we
Yeah,
did different
yeah.
content, and
Mhm,
we're like
mhm.
collaboration, right? Like we're like, and that's one
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
C's in the thing, collaboration. Parang we're all different creators, and we find a way that we can find a middle ground so that both our content and both our audiences
Nice,
are
nice.
satisfied. That's what collaboration is all about, right? More so, nowadays it's like, oh, there's no, that's how you become creative, diba? How can I
Yeah, yeah.
collaborate with someone who's not me? How can I collaborate? I'm a
Yes, that's
comedian.
true.
How do I work with Mikey Bustos, who's doing comedy music, right? So we would
Yeah,
come up
yeah.
with like ideas, and that starts a conversation.
It
It
does.
fire
Mhm.
starts it fire starts people talking, and talking by having the same goal, and not talking
Mhm.
because they want to debate or argue, diba? Because it's because, okay, we know what the problem is. We get it. I get it. Okay, what are you about? Okay, I know. This is what I'm about. What are you about? Okay, okay. I see our common ground now. Okay, what's our common goal? Right. We need
Nice.
to have more of these conversations, because otherwise, the rift is just gonna keep going.
That's
It's gonna
true.
be one side versus another. And then I don't know. I guess I don't know what the end goal for that would be. I guess the end goal is like you go far away, you go all the way back. I don't know.
Yeah.
But for me, I've always loved collaborating with people, and especially people that I don't have the skills of. Like I like working with Will because Will
Yeah,
can be in
yeah.
front of a camera, and at
Mhm.
that time, unlike right now, which I'm super dull in the camera,
It's fine.
I can. No, but I learned that
Yeah.
from him. I learned how
Okay.
to be comfortable in front of a
Mhm.
camera,
Mhm.
and he would tell me, you know what? There are like multiple vlogs I never uploaded because that's the vlogs where I was testing it out and seeing how I looked or
Okay.
how it is, you know. And you learn from people, and I think
Mhm. That's true.
if you have the gusto, the want, the need to
Yeah,
learn,
yeah.
then you wouldn't you would buy you would talk. You would talk,
For
you would
sure.
understand, you'd make friends,
Mhm. Mhm.
and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's really I hope it happens, lalo na now. I mean, we're in a
Yes,
very political
especially.
stance, like everybody's
Right.
up in arms with everything.
Mhm.
um you should use your platform wisely, obviously.
Yes, yes.
You should use your platform for good. You should use your platform for all of that. As creators, we have a responsibility, eh. We're
Yeah,
given an
also.
audience, right? So
Mhm.
our audience is our responsibility, and we have to do that. We also have the responsibility to break those echo chambers instead of creating
Nice,
them.
nice. Nice.
So we're the mouthpiece, people.
Yeah.
We're the ones out there. Um so so it's really that we have responsibilities on both ends,
Mhm.
to create the conversation and to end conversations that are not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I guess that's it for me, for that part. Yeah.
No, I get it. And I guess just to add, something that we should also try to remember is to be kind, because a lot of people on
Oh yeah.
social media tend to be like very intense right away without even hearing the other side. So like it's important to remember to be kind and
Oh yeah. Yeah.
to know how to listen also, because we're also putting out a lot. We should also know how to listen. Like it's a take and receive thing as well.
No, 100%. I
Mm.
always say, I actually, that's funny you mentioned it. I actually say that a lot, like,
Oh, okay.
and a lot of my posts, I always
Yeah.
end it with like, be kind, you know,
Yeah.
uh, I forget. I posted one thing the other day on Twitter, but
Mhm.
it's we always have to remember to be kind.
Yes,
Um,
yes, for sure.
yeah. It's something that people miss nowadays. You could being good is
Yeah.
one whole. Being good is one thing. Being
Mm-hmm.
kind is another.
Mm-hmm.
I
That's
always
true.
explain it as like being good is an outsider's kind of thing. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a good person in comparison to whatever. Being kind is from you within it. It's like what you want to do. I'm kind because I'm kind. Like it's not there's no
Yeah.
prerequisite to it. Either you
Yeah.
are or you're
Yeah.
not, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a good thing you mentioned that. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Okay. So before we go, invite people to your class and also tell us a little more about what other projects you might have lined up.
Sure. So bunch of stuff about the projects. I wear a lot of hats, so I will try to limit it to the ones na. So one,
Okay.
of course, Archipelago. I'm teaching a
Mm-hmm.
course on intro to content creation. Um, as you mentioned, there might be other things that would be coming up through that course, so stay tuned. But
Mm-hmm.
I think my course will be up on May 1st. So I'm excited for that, or at least that first week of May. Go check it out. Go check out the other courses because I think sometimes a lot of people in the creatives, they don't know what to do. They just want to be creative. They don't want to do the traditional, so I want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So go there, read. I think there's 17 courses right now being offered. If I'm not mistaken, there's a lot, and there's going to be a lot more. Um, my course is more about again, an intro to content creation. If you're there to learn how to like, you know, uh, kind of adjust the camera, that might not be it, but there will be a course for that for sure. But if you want to be a content creation and you want to learn exactly what we've been talking about for an hour and how to be inspired to find your goal, to find your space in this
Mm-hmm.
vast universe of social media, to be able to build on it and what it takes to be a top creator, then that's the course for you to take. For other projects, I'm actually the executive director of the CICP, which is the Creators and
Oh, okay.
Influencers Council of the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we, as a group, we've yearned to exactly what you're saying, like
Mm-hmm.
build the community, create more bridges, break down more
Nice.
walls in the community, whether in every stakeholder, right? When I say
Mm-hmm.
stakeholders, you have the creator, you have the agencies, clients, audience, you have the platforms. We're trying to bridge that so that people can be, best in class in becoming a creator. We're a sayang the Philippines has so much creative talent,
For
so
sure.
much
Mm-hmm.
musical talent, so much artistic talent. And if we build the right community and if we build the right bridges, then all of us can thrive. Diba? And as I said, we rise by lifting others. So there's that. And I guess Paperbug TV. It's the thing that I love doing. So we do have a channel. It's called Paperbug TV on
Mm-hmm.
YouTube. We also have Bogart the Explorer, to check it out. Superhuman Wildasovich everywhere. Those are people that I work with a lot. And then for me personally, you could find me at Jako de Leon on all my socials. Um, I don't know what you find there. It's mostly Jacob, my kid. But I try to be creative there as well once in a while. So yeah, I hope to see you guys online, and I hope to see more of everyone here.
All right. So before we say goodbye properly, please allow me to thank a few people first. So
Of course.
once again, this has been New Wave. So thank you to James and Sir Justin who will be handling this broadcast. Thank you once again to our audience for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you all on our next episode. We'll resume in May after a 1 week break. So please don't miss out. Follow us on Instagram at newwave.rk to stay updated. Head over to our Facebook page called New Wave and join the Facebook community group on the page for replays, additional content, engagements, and ways you could get featured on the show. The links to all of these will be pasted in the comment section, so please go check that out. You can also catch the replay of this episode on Radio Katipunan 87.9 FM's Facebook page, YouTube, and Twitter Live, all of which go by at Radio Katipunan. Plus, you can listen to this episode and many more as a podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Anchor under the name New Wave. But most of all, thank you to our guest, Mr. Jako De Leon, for joining us today and sharing nuggets of wisdom. Like, I learned a lot. I have a much clearer picture of what content creation is now. And for sure, we will be watching out for your course and the many other things you have lined up. The floor is yours for parting words.
I'm not good at that because obviously we'll have a full podcast just for parting words alone. But I really want to thank you for taking the time then to, again, listening to what I have to say then and having me on the show. Thank you, everyone, New Wave, Ateneo, Maxine, Twinkie, for creating Archipelago. I guess, one last thing that I want to say is the thing about the working from home, right?
Oh, yes, of course.
Phones ring. Okay, wait. All right. So the last thing I really want to impart is hi, Jacob. The last thing I want to impart is what you said earlier. Actually, be kind. Like, I think in today's society, we need more of that. And if you're kind, hopefully the world gets better and it's good for everyone else, creator or otherwise. So yeah, have a great year. Hopefully everybody gets better. The world opens up and we get to do this in person.
Yes,
like we don't
for
have
sure.
to we get to
Yeah.
we get to hang out in person with an audience.
Oh,
who knows,
yes.
right?
That's what we miss.
So yeah, and best of luck with everyone who's going into content creation. And if you ever need anything, you have the course to go back to, or if ever you do find me, I'm more than happy to have a chat.
Nice, great. So, as he said, if you like this episode and you have a knack for content creation, music, theater, and many more, head over to Archipelago, where I'm sure you'll find a course for you. So once again, I'm Max, and when it comes to what's happening, I'll serve you the facts. And this has been New Wave. We'll see you in May. Bye.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
If it's entertainment you crave,
Catch us on
New Wave, surfing through the latest on our shores.
every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m.
See you there.
Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan. Voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay at tenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela.